meeting of the City of Crescent Springs, January 22nd, 2024. Please rise for pledge and prayer. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Dear Lord, we thank you for bringing us here together today. Put the best interest of our residents and those that visit the city in our minds as we complete the work that we need to do tonight. In Christ's name we pray. Amen. Roll call, please.
Mark Wittenberger. Janine Bell Smith. Present. Don Kiley.
Here.
Bill Schultz.
Here.
Brian Barclay.
Here.
Carol McGowan. Here.
Thank you. In your package, you received the meeting minutes from January 22nd. Is there any discussion?
Make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mark Wittenberger.
Yes.
Janine Bell Smith.
Are we doing the minutes where we voted for 2026, 2024-6 with the CV authority?
We are not.
We are not voting on that,
We are voting for the January 22nd minutes.
and that was not in the January 2nd minutes?
It was not.
No, it was. 2024-6, and then you start on this order, 2024-6, the contract between CV, Crescent Springs Volunteer Fire Department and the fire authority, you know that, right? January 22nd?
Yeah. Are you talking about Municipal Order 2024-6? Ms. Smith?
Yes,
It is in
Is
these
that
minutes.
there? Okay.
that is in the minutes.
Yes.
Well, at this point, if I'm correct legally, I talked to Mr. Baker, I would like to move to amend the minutes of Municipal Order 2024-6. That was, motion was passed on 2022, 2024, and by striking the numbers, 2025 years to inserting 10 years. I will need someone to second that motion. We need to vote on it.
I don't remember that it was shortened to 10 years.
Excuse me.
No, it wasn't. She's proposing that we shorten it to 10 years.
Well, that's a different,
Yeah, but how does amending the minutes?
that's a different municipal order.
But I've been able to read and do my research that because if we we can basically go for a whole new municipal order at a different time.
Well, I don't think that we've already passed Municipal Order 2024-6.
Yeah, I realize that.
So to change that municipal order, we would need a new municipal order.
That's correct. We could do that. But when I was reading with my research that I've done, and I do have documentation of it, it was said that there was one way that you could do that. You could do that by amending the minutes.
Well, it'd be amending the contract, which is not the subject of the motion to approve minutes. The contract itself went for that long. And so, what you're really asking to do is to amend the contract. That's a whole different topic than approving the minutes or
Yeah,
amending the minutes.
I have looked over the contract, and I have some concerns about the contract, that why I did vote no, but I didn't vote no against the fire department. I voted no against the contract. That was my only, I think the fire department is very important. When you're down 911, you want those people there ASAP. It's not worth any endeavors that we put into it financially. But my concern was the contract was, the contract that we basically approved of, it's very nebulous. There's not a whole lot there when you compare it to what the old contract looked like, which I have gone through and read, which was quite difficult to comprehend. So I guess my next question is, where do we go with that? Maybe Mr. Baker can give us some guidance.
Well, I think if you wish to alter the terms of the contract, that's going to require a whole new contract or a whole new motion, a municipal order.
Well, is it possible that we could basically make that possible for another time, for another meeting?
I think it can be on the topic, sure.
Could it be on the topic?
What we're also going to have to discuss is the impact of trying to change that at this point since the contract is signed. But, yes, we can have a discussion about
It can be at the caucus in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever the date.
2 weeks.
Yeah, I would think we would need some more information about what this contract entails. I always like to use the term devil in the details, because when you just see these lists like bullet points, what this contract stands for, but what does it really mean? Because we're gonna be binding into a legal contract with what we call we're subcontractors of the fire authority, is that correct?
How would you describe that, Mr.
It's
Baker?
a contract with the city of Villa Hills, the city of Crescent Springs, the fire authority, and the fire department. Yes, ma'am.
It is that. But I just want to reiterate for sure that I'm not against the fire department. I will work as much as possible to make it happen and that we do get full-time people there. But my contention was I didn't particularly like the 25 years. It's a very long time. I would think it'd be better to go to 10.
Well, that's absolutely something we can start talking about at the caucus meeting in March.
All right, and then may I ask another question about section 11? That section 11 was the wording regarding the two cities merging to be removed from I would like to have that removed from the contract. That signifies a foregone conclusion that we will lose our identity as the city of Crescent Springs and determination of our long-lived heritage. Of course, then we are very famous for our Cincinnati, our depot there with the Southern Railroad.
All right, what the provision, and I don't have it in front of me, I'm going by
Okay.
memory. The provision is that if, that's a two-letter big word, if the cities merge, that would not be deemed a breach of the contract. That's all that paragraph says, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it just means.
So if the cities do not merge, that paragraph is inoperative.
So I guess my question then, why is it even necessary?
It's standard language in
Could
the.
it- Excuse me, Mr. Baker, couldn't that just be removed easily?
Well, at this point, I don't know if anything would be done easily. That's a
Well,
subject
that's why I'm
of
asking you.
negotiation with the city of Villa Hills and the fire authority and the fire department.
I make a motion to enforce the agenda. We're talking about minutes, not contracts, in this part of the agenda.
I second it.
I think I'm going all out of order. Respectfully.
Food for thought.
What you're asking is, I would say in response to Councilman Barkley's point here, is what's before you is, are the minutes accurate? Do they need correction? And if the minutes are accurate, then they should be affirmed. And if you see an inaccuracy in the minutes themselves, then yes, we can certainly address whether that needs to be
Yeah,
corrected.
I understand that situation, but there, and I will send you my documentation and my references that I used, that I did some quite a bit
I'd
of
be happy to
research
look
on.
at that, sure.
And if we could meet at your office or talk to you on the phone, I would greatly like to do that.
That will be fine,
Would you like
as
me to
long
meet
as
in
it's
the
not
office
this
or
week.
here?
I'll be happy to meet with you. I'm always happy to meet with you.
Okay, yeah, well, and we'll just kind of let that move along
So
and,
we'll move back to approval of the minutes.
So,
Ms. Robinson?
Janine Bell Smith,
yes.
Don Kylie,
Yes.
Bill Schultz,
Yes.
Brian Barclay,
Yes.
Carol McGowan. Yes.
Thank you. As for the mayor's report, since I'm going to be going over the city manager's report, we'll just do that all together because it's all kind of the same. Chief Wayne?
Good evening. Fire drum count for January, 45 year to date, 83 ambulance calls, 83 year to date. We received a grant from the state of Kentucky for some fire equipment, boots, gloves, helmets, hoods, equates to about $2,500. The new firehouse is occupied. We are operating backwards out of the firehouse. So far, everything's been pretty good. The demo that was to start today is delayed a bit. We were told that everything that was left in the building would be taken by the demolition company. That's not the case. They want us to clean some stuff out. So we will be doing that tomorrow. That's all I have.
Thank you.
If you haven't walked through the new building, it's really
Yeah,
nice.
we will have an open house as soon as the new firehouse is open completely, so the building is demolished, the concrete is out onto Overlook. Everybody will receive an invite for an open house. Sunday we did have, some members that had been there as long as 50 years ago, come up and say their goodbyes to the building, and, about 110 people showed up, and it was very nice. So they were, touched that we invited them, so.
Chief, do we want to talk about the concrete stuff and the signs and things like that, those happenings, or, I mean, I can do it in the fire authority report. I don't want to blur lines.
No, so, we can go over that. The sign out front is obsolete and does not work. The problem, once we got electric to the sign, we could not get the reader to work. So basically what we had to do is take a television remote out to it, click at the bottom to program it. It no longer works. So I got a price on the new sign. It was $26,000. Originally we kicked it around, added it into the price of the new firehouse. And I got an email back from the sign company that said it was for the month of February, $2,000 off. The fire authority voted to go ahead with the new sign that, like the sign here, can be programmed from a cell phone or a computer. So that will be coming soon. As far as the concrete goes, originally the concrete spoils were going to go to the Bill Hill Civic Club to repair a hole in the dam and some other areas. They no longer want the concrete, but they do want the dirt. So that saves our company that's hauling the dirt away a lot of money because it's less than a mile down the road. Anything else you have?
If I can
Yeah.
say it, okay. At the meeting, I mean, this could go under committee reports, so stop me if we need to, but at the meeting, there was a request from Mr. Smith to have the minutes and the meeting schedule linked on the respective cities' websites. Villa Hills has it on theirs. I reached out to April Robinson the next day. April pointed me in the direction of navigating our city website. If you go under services and then go to Fire Authority, it links to the Crescent Springs Villa Hills Fire Authority website, which all of that meeting schedule and minutes should and will be posted.
Technically, the fire authority doesn't have a website, it's the fire department's website.
Fire department.
We're working at putting all the information from the fire authority on the fire department website. No, it's confusing.
Once things are approved.
Right.
So once minutes are voted and approved, then they can be posted.
Mr. Bartley, could I interject and say, actually, one thing I was asking was, can they actually videotape the meetings for the public to see?
Sure.
The cities are spending millions of taxpayer money on that fire department, which is a private entity. I would think that transparency would be at the top of the list.
Sure, absolutely. I'll address that right now.
Thank you.
There is no budget item right now for paying the fees to have it broadcast. That discussion can happen and that option can be investigated. The room is not set up for audio, visual, and recording in the room, much like this room. Everybody comes in, sits down. There can be a conversation about it, but it is not on the roadmap at this time to broadcast out to record and broadcast out. The public is always welcome to join. The minutes will be posted, the financials will be posted. All of those things will be posted as appropriate. So I don't want to write too big of a check because I don't know what exactly can. I would have to get with Sue and those folks to make sure. So the documents and the information that is appropriate to be posted will be posted. And there's links back to the website where everything is posted to direct people on 3 different places. So that's
right. I just know a lot of people don't have, internet and, and/or not necessarily not have internet. They just don't have the time to go to the meetings. And if it's as simple as just getting out the phone and videotaping it. Our church does it. And it's a piece of cake, and they can always put it on their website. Unless they did the first meeting, so I don't see where it would be such an issue. But that's just my opinion.
I hate to put Mr. Baker on the spot again, he's already been busy tonight, but is the fire authority an entity that is required to tape the meetings?
Oh, I'm not gonna answer that question
Okay.
right now. I'll take a look at it.
Okay.
Well, when you say required, you mean allowed?
Right. I mean,
If his answer is yes, it may be a problem.
right,
You mean, can it be?
can it be
It's a
taped
decision.
and?
Decision.
Oh,
Right.
It can be, certainly.
Right.
The question is, should be, is it supposed to be?
Right.
That I'm not gonna answer, because I just
Okay,
don't
I
know.
understand.
And again,
I'll
to-
speak to
to-
the fire authority council.
to answer the request that you have, Mr. Smith, at this time, it is a topic that we can discuss. It is not on the roadmap, it is not in the plans, however, plans change all the time. So if it becomes to the point where it's not overly costly or too costly or things like that, then we can certainly look at it. I mean, we've got the contracts here to do this, we can look into that and how much it would be, but I know that it is not just a small little fee. So there's.
You talking about the fire authority, them making a decision? I'm just curious if the cities could force their hand and make them do it, is what I'm kinda asking. Being, like I said, they're receiving these millions of dollars, I would think that would be top of the list, the transfer.
As Mr. Barkley said, we'll look into it.
I appreciate it, thank you.
And as, there are, fire boards across the entire state of Kentucky. I've never seen a fire department board meeting or a district meeting there before.
A lot of, it's like, this is a very unique situation, so it's a totally different situation.
Okay, well, I think we've answered your question, Mr. Smith, we'll look into
Appreciate
it.
it, thank you.
Anything else?
I don't
think so.
With everything, right?
There was one small issue, it technically is now the city's building, both
Oh,
cities.
yeah, okay, yeah, sorry, yes.
And I got a little bit of pushback about weapons in the firehouse. Our membership had passed 20-plus years ago that we don't allow firearms in the firehouse. The pushback I got was it's a public building, I'm allowed to bring a gun in here. All I asked for was the both cities' support on we don't allow guns in the building. And so questions came up about that, and it's my concern that even if somebody is well-trained in a firearm, and they're on an ambulance, and they're carrying that firearm with them, I'm afraid it's gonna get taken away from them and used against them. So it's still our membership's policy, we don't allow firearms, we don't allow any form of tobacco in the building, and I just asked for the support from fire authority, and they gave me 100% support.
And essentially what that was too was, it wasn't these two topics, I mean, those were the two marquee, but basically it was, hey, we had these policies in place previously, can we transfer them over to the new building and the fire authority over to continue to have what was already in place? Nothing new, nothing old, just, or everything old, so nothing new, so. I abstained from that vote.
Anything else? Thanks, Chief.
Thanks.
Chief Hall.
Good evening, everybody. It's now 66 degrees outside. I'm not saying it's criminal to be in here, but I'm just saying. No, if anybody has any particular questions about the report as far as the numbers and calls for service, please don't hesitate to ask. I'm just going to hit our department news and try to be short and sweet with you guys, but obviously ask any questions you have. So as of today, all of our vehicles that we purchased, the 4 new Dodge Durandos, have been received, outfitted, and are on the road. So we're back up to speed with our cruisers, the ones that had to be repaired and, or not be repaired or had to be totaled. So we are back up to speed on our vehicles. We continue to review for potential taser replacement through Axon and upgrading potential purchases of 15 tasers for the department due to the continual downgrading of the tasers that we have right now. I was just told today that we had another taser go down and it is irreplaceable. It is not replaceable. So, you know, the cost that they've come across with and the assessment that were not just tasers, but tasers lumped in with our body cameras for the next 10 years is a cost of $28,000 a year. I know that sounds like a large number. We already currently pay almost $15,000 a year for our body cams. That number is not locked in. That number continues to grow, where we originally started at $7,300 a year, and it's gone up every single year due to technology. There's a lot of advantages to moving forward with the purchase of the tasers and redoing our contract for the body cameras. It would basically set us up for the next 10 years. Not only is our fleet in-car camera system, body cams and tasers would all be for the next 10 years, all locked into a price. And that includes warranty work, that includes replacements, and that includes upgrades that we have already scheduled into that we would need, obviously, right now. If we were to purchase a taser, a single taser right now, they're, as I've said before, about $5,500 and that gives us a 4-year warranty, not a 10-year. So trying to do my due diligence to try to set the agency up for obviously the future and going forward, and being able to lock in a price with technology, unlimited data storage, and everything like that for the next 10 years, I think is highly warranted. So we're continuing to have that discussion, obviously, and trying to work the best price possible for us.
Quick question about that. When you forecast out over those 10 years, is that budgetarily, I mean, it's $13,000 increase year one, but when you forecast out, I mean, are you net neutral, or are you?
It's an additional
expense?
$28,000. So is it net neutral? I can't really say because we don't have the taser as it is. So where it's hard for me to say how much, so this past year we spent $14,582 for just the body cameras. In 2.5 years, we would have to renegotiate this contract anyway, and it would go up. So, because they do a hardware upgrade every 2.5 years on our body cameras. So that cost will continually go up. This just locks that price in, and we only have 4 terabytes of data storage as it is right now with our body cameras. Moving to this, it's an unlimited data storage, and obviously all their securities that go along with it. So it's hard for me to say, but it's an additional $28,000 for the next 10 years, locked in price, paid one time a year. So it's kind of trying the direction that we're kind of moving, trying to make it as easy and fiscally responsible as possible.
Okay, thank you.
No worries. Officer Dooley and K9 Onyx attended the Department of Public Safety K9 Conference at the Ark Encounter. This is the second year that he's attended, and Officer Dooley and K9 Onyx performed excellent, and he had a lot of hours of training for building searches and narcotic searches and hides and everything like that. So kudos to them for attending. I continue to upload our policies. I've uploaded all our policies to PMAM, which is our online software, for our future accreditation coming up here. I have to go through this software system, update all the policies and all the requirements of accreditation, attach contracts and everything else like that to be able to submit to the Kentucky Association of Chiefs of Police for approval. So that's continues to work. Sergeant Brockman, who's in the back of the audience here, kudos to him for attending the Kentucky PCIS, which is the Post-Critical Incident Seminar. He actually is asked every year, actually multiple times here, but he was able to attend 40 hours of training down there. It's not actually training, he's actually one of the instructors and one of the persons that actually goes to it. So kudos to him for taking on that role and being there for other law enforcement officers and their families and that have had to endure serious critical incidents. We conducted new hire interviews on the 21st. We are moving forward with one of those applicants with background. So I'm not going to give any names out or anything like that. It's obviously just an initial stage and send them through phase 1, hopefully passes phase 1, phase 2, and have to get them on board and get them an academy spot. Academy is still 5 months out. So we have to get them past all of the standards by KLEC. Once they pass all the testing, background, and all the testing required, that's when I can hire them on payroll. And then they're here for about approximately 5 months before they can actually go to the academy. That is not my doing, that is just simply the Department of Criminal Justice and Training.
Chief, real quick, is there a contract with that?
For a new hire, it's a 5-year contract.
Okay, thank you.
And that starts at the completion of their academy date.
So 5 months, so it starts at the time we put money out?
No, the contract starts at the time they complete the academy.
Okay.
That's how it's written in their contract. So once they complete, we have them on, we're paying them for that 5 months, obviously.
Right.
But their contract technically, it starts 5 years post-academy.
I said it in the wrong way.
No worries, absolutely. The last point of thing that I want to mention is that the Kentucky League of Cities, KLC, performed our annual, or not annual, it's required every 3 years for our loss control report audit. The law enforcement liability report that they have along with it. I'm happy to say that we passed with flying colors. We normally get 95% on it. This is the first time Bill Hills Police Department has 100% on it, so I was really happy to do it. And what that has to do with is, they review policies to make sure that we're up to standards on things, and we have programs in place, and all these little check marks that they have to do, that we have to do, that meets their requirements to be able to pass. So we did pass with 100% report. So that was really good. I appreciate it.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
I know Ohio has legal marijuana,
Mhm.
THC. We have DUI, alcohol.
Mhm.
What procedures do you use when you run across these individuals that are drinking, driving, or they're high on THC, and how will you ever know?
So we still, the law as it reads, it's operating a motor vehicle under the influence of intoxicants. So that does include marijuana, okay? We use, basically, depending upon a traffic stop, we use a totality of circumstances, okay? So do they have bad driving? Now we have to have their behaviors that we have field sobriety tests that we still perform. It's a divided attention test. There's a barrage of tests that we have which are approved through NHTSA, and it's the same as alcohol as it is without, with marijuana. And if you perform unsatisfactorily with all the totality of circumstances, you can still be arrested for operating a motor vehicle of intoxicants. Then we would take them, if we believe that it's kind of the same thing if they were under the influence of methamphetamines, we'd take them for a blood test. And then we would request a blood test to them.
Are these individuals prosecuted by Ross Sanders?
Unless it's a felony. If it's a felony, then if there's a felony charge, then Commonwealth Attorney Sanders would handle that charge. If not, it's Stacey Captain's office, which is the county attorney.
Okay, what makes it a felony then? How far do you?
It depends on what the charge is. So if I just charge them with DUI, let's say it's their fourth offense DUI,
And it is.
then it's a felony, yes. Or if it's a DUI third, driving under DUI suspended second with an aggravator, it would make it depends how the law is set out. There's different laws, there's different penalties for different laws. So
And extenuating circumstances such
if
as.
they cause serious physical injury or a fatality, there's that charge. But then that would be another charge of potentially one murder as well.
Do you find that to be an issue in Crescent Springs and Villa Hills, or people coming into our cities?
I mean, narcotics are going to continue to be a problem, to be quite honest with you. We have injury crashes. I don't see a high prevalence of that being increased as of just yet. Now, again, it's just been legalized across the river. But, you legalize marijuana, alcohol's legal, you're going to have these people, unfortunately partaking too much. And hopefully they make the right choice and not get themselves behind a motor vehicle. So currently, I can't sit there and say that we've had a systemic rise in charges like that, no.
So that makes your determination kind of more difficulty, especially with the THC?
What do you mean determination on how they are?
When someone is drinking, you can readily smell it, but.
Unless they're drinking vodka, then you don't smell it. Vodka does not emit any smell. So just FYI for all those listening. But no, so that's one of those things. That's why we have a totality of circumstances. We look for pinpoint eyes. We look for bloodshot eyes, pupils, their actions, vertive movements. Are they slow to respond? How do they obtain their license? There's all these training that we receive,
Yes.
not only through the academy, but continuing education on things that we are looking for.
So you have been trained now on how to detect these
Mhm.
individuals?
Absolutely.
Because that's got to make your job more difficult too.
I mean, everything makes my job more difficult sometimes, but that's all right. That's part of the game.
I thank you for being brave and taking care of our citizens, and I appreciate that.
Appreciate it, Smith. Thank you.
So,
I have a question on one of the active cases.
Sir.
Fraudulent use of credit card. What is, it says suspect, it has like this swap intel, what's SWOP?
Swap Intel is basically all the detectives in northern Kentucky, into Ohio, Indiana. It's a massive group of detectives and detective bureaus that exchange information to be able to share information.
And do I see that there's more collision, that Buttermilk did not lead in collision?
Did not, Anderson
I
did.
can't believe you didn't come.
You know what?
Normally you're good.
I was trying to
Right.
expedite the report,
Yeah.
but I failed to do
It's
so.
a big one.
I know. No, and two of those crashes were coming into BP and coming out of BP on Anderson, so don't trust this movement from people. That's all I can tell you. Don't trust that movement. I'm sorry, I'm just being honest. Go ahead.
Chief, you want to discuss moving the speed sign on Western?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Safety committee, so it was kind of brought to our attention. So there's a speed sign currently on Western Reserve that's by the new stop sign, freeway stop. The discussion came up on whether to move that speed sign, and I think the discussion is moved in that positive direction. It's kind of rendered that sign obsolete. Stop signs, even though they're not by the manual for uniform for traffic control devices, the stop sign is not supposed to meant for slowing people down. People slow down, stop. Okay, so the readings that we're getting from that sign are it's not serving its purpose anymore, for lack of a better term. So it was presented to the safety committee and especially the Crescent Spring members of the safety committee on that sign being moved, and I think there was a unanimous decision to move that to crossings. So probably on the hillside, to be quite honest.
Crossings or Meadowwood?
I'm sorry, Meadowwood, I apologize. Meadowwood,
Before you get to
the
the
hill.
films.
I know there's a speed hump there, but I can have a whole discussion on.
No,
speed
I got
humps,
what you're saying, yeah, absolutely.
But all Meadowwood, yeah.
I had just heard Meadowwood and then you said Crossing.
I apologize.
Just, yeah.
Meadowwood
I'm
crossing
tracking.
area, so.
I've lived there for 4.5 years, I finally just got it.
So yes, it was, that was the safety committee's recommendation to move it to that location.
So do you get, the police pick where the speed limit signs go, the public works picks where the stop signs go, is that right?
Not necessarily, we do it in conjunction, to be quite honest with you. So, because it was brought forth that, to move that sign was by Public Works.
Oh, okay.
So they asked for a recommendation. So I told Tanya and Ms. Miller that I would present it to the safety committee and seek their recommendation on it.
Cool.
Since it does belong to the city of Crescent Circus. That sign.
It's pretty interesting observation.
Anything else? Thanks, chief.
Yeah, it's literally
Yeah. No, as soon as they send it in, as soon as.
So in the, next up is city administrator's reports. You all received a copy of the report today. I'm gonna go through, relatively quickly. We received $2,600 in change in FEMA funds. Those are related to the COVID pandemic, and I think that's the last of what we're going to get. The sale of the old street signs, it was a big deal in Villa Hills. People wanted the signs. I have no idea if anybody in Crescent Springs wants old street signs. If we wanna put them on gov deals or do sealed bids, we can, but that's our only two options. We can't just give them away or,
What did the Hills do?
they did sealed bids.
So my question with that is it would obviously be sealed bids for per street sign, right?
Correct.
Not one lot of.
Correct, no,
Okay.
it's per sign. So you would be putting in a bid for your street sign, I'd be putting in one for mine.
Okay, yeah.
Which I wouldn't be doing, but
No, I just wanted to make sure that we didn't do it in one lot,
No.
sealed bids, and if somebody gets 50 signs.
so if anybody has any thoughts on that, please let April know.
So if we do, sorry, if we do the sealed bids and we say sell 5 of them and the rest are 0 bids, can we then put the lot of street signs on gov deals after that? Like what happened, I mean, if we have 20 street signs we're retiring, we do 20 line items, Maple Street, Oak Street, whatever street, and only 5 people show up and buy 5 signs and we're left with 15. What do we do with the 15 after that? Can we then
We
throw them on
either
gov deals?
scrap them or advertise again.
Advertise again.
You have to advertise again.
Is there a cost on gov deals to post?
No,
Is posting on gov deals considered advertising, or do you have to take a separate ad that says we're
you
doing
have to
this?
have a separate ad.
Okay, and then that is an incurred cost.
What about, is this time consuming? Like, it sounds time consuming.
I would think it's very time consuming.
I
Due to
mean,
the number of signs.
yeah.
Yes.
It would be my opinion to scrap them.
Okay, all right, but yeah, is there a market? Does anybody, like,
I think there's a nostalgia piece. I wouldn't buy my street sign anyway, but I think that's why it was in Bill Hills, but I would be fine in any direction we go.
So the time consuming part is listing them on each individually on gov deals and or getting sealed bids for each of them?
Correct.
could we put on like one of these flyer things with interested contacts us or something? I don't know, it seems like, right?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't see why not.
I'm trying to figure
We
out a
could do
quick
that,
solution, other than just waiting 6
Put it
months.
on the
to
community,
sell.
they want the news.
That's what I mean, yeah, something like that, yeah.
Well, I think there's only two ways to sell it, it's either gov deals or sealed.
Yeah, I think GovDeals, is that?
You can't just put it in
It's something
community.
easily
Well,
worth a shot.
Just say, if you're interested,
Both
contact
options would
whoever.
take about the same amount of time.
Right, but I think like if somebody showed up.
Trying to get somebody to sign up for gov deals to buy their street sign from where they grew up.
No, I mean, when somebody else buys stuff, that
Yeah.
website exists for a reason, it's not just.
Oh, yeah,
localities.
if you've ever searched on that website, it's great. You can buy a dump truck or a fire truck. It's pretty cool. But, yeah, I mean, if we bulk scrap them, I mean, that's fine with me too. I don't have an emotional attachment to street signs.
Would it be time consuming to bulk post them all on gov deals instead of put them all individually on gov deals?
to bulk post them,
Like,
and
I don't know, let's say there's 50 signs, instead of having to put 50 separate gov deal,
they would have to be separate.
you could
Would they?
do-
Unless you just did the whole lot,
That's
is that
what
what
I'm
you mean?
Yeah.
I mean, you could do the whole lot.
would it take roughly 1/50th of the time, as opposed to
Right.
50th?
Yes.
I mean, I would just do that.
Make it post on Craigslist, can be, same premise.
Well, I think what
It
the
has
sealed
to be
bid or
as
gov
big
deals
as
has to work too, because you have to give the public an opportunity.
No, I just mean like from clicking the buttons and stuff, like same motions.
Oh, right,
Yeah, so yeah, I would think 50 times, you have to, there's no way to not make it.
right. Yeah, I would recommend just do that.
50
Put them all together in one lot of gov deals. If somebody out there wants a bunch of them, they can go buy the whole thing.
You have to declare the surplus first.
We already have.
Yeah, we did that
Yeah,
2 months ago.
we
right?
did that with the end of last year, so we were sitting on these because of
I
the.
remember doing that, I just remember that
Yeah.
included signs. I'm sorry.
So is the direction we want to go, we want to put them as bulk on gov deals?
I'm good with it.
And then throw them away. If they don't sell.
Okay, we will post it, it's a lot.
Sounds good.
What are you gonna do with all your free time?
At the March caucus, we're having Steve Arlinghouse come to speak to us about the Section 8 housing with the Housing Authority of Covington is the one that will oversee that for the county, and they want us to pass a resolution, and he'll be here to explain all that. The rubber grant for the playground, what I need from council, we have a resolution to go ahead and apply for it for later. I need some letters. April has drafts of letters that have worked in the past to help get the grant. So if some of you could reach out to April and get that information and send me a signed letter. Anybody in the public that would like to send a letter of endorsement, the more the merrier. I know we had the mothers group that was here that kind of helped with some of the design. Maybe we get something from them, and then we can get that process going.
When you say the more the merrier, you mean it makes a difference? Or-
I think so. It would make a difference to me if, 2 people or 20 people.
Okay.
The more we can provide, I think the better off we are.
So, Mr. Mayor, I thought that also the gentleman that was doing the park and was awarded the contract also had agreed to writing the grant based upon his winning grants already.
He's going to provide us information on grants that have worked in the past.
So he's just gonna give examples.
Correct. That's what he said.
Fair enough. Thank you.
The playground update, pretty much all the old equipment's been removed. I had no idea that playground equipment was concreted in 2 to 3 foot deep concrete. Holy cow. It's a lot. Public Works did a great job. Bill Hills is helping us. They brought their backhoe. They're gonna help us use the roller, to get that, surface ready. Squire Hill, that is being completed, I believe, early March for the $13,650. A request from Public Works is a pickup truck for in the next year budget. She's working on getting prices and that so we can see if we can put that in the budget. He's giving you all a reminder of how the budget process works, that, basically, goes to the finance committee in March, and then we fine tune it, and then we get it to council.
And there will be a special meeting that will be for the budget itself, right? The first, that's how we.
Not if we can help it.
Well, no, wasn't there a public hearing about that, or was that about the tax rate?
That was the tax rate.
Okay.
Tax rates, the tax rates, mechanics, and analytics, all that stuff, it's smoothest when you have a special meeting as one of your
Right.
meetings.
Right, I just remember,
Because it's a crunch, it's like not much time.
yeah, because we get the numbers late and everything else, yeah. So just a reminder for folks watching and listening that there will be an announcement of a special meeting or at least a public hearing about this information to come out to it. And we'll get it posted out as soon as we can, so that way more people have time to mark it on their calendars.
That'll be sometime late August for the tax rate.
Perfect.
Sons of the American Revolution, they want to know if they can place a monument somewhere in the park. Personally, we're getting a lot of monuments up there, so I don't know what we want to do. We can say, get information from them, say, what are your thoughts? What do you think this monument's going to look like? We can say, no, we have enough monuments. That's up to you all to decide. I thought at one time they were talking about a bench. You know if that's true?
Use a granite bench.
A granite bench.
Unless they change their mind.
I see that it says ask what our thoughts are. I would need to see plans or at least
Yeah,
where it's
so
going.
a little better.
Yeah, it's,
Tangible.
I mean, I can't say that I'm for it or against it.
What is your real idea?
Can I ask a question to Director Miller about that real quick?
Sure.
Does your team spend time on all these various monuments at all, or, like, is it expected that the groups that put them in maintain them, or they don't need maintenance, or?
It just depends, we don't maintain the ones that are there, they don't take very much maintenance as of right now. I mean, we do mow around them, or trim around them, but that's where they're anyways.
Right.
Foreclosure discussions, April, Mr. Daly, Mr. Baker are working together on some foreclosures on some past due taxes. We got a large amount of that handled this year with the change in the tax laws that basically we're down to whoever doesn't have a mortgage. Anybody that had a mortgage that had their taxes in escrow, we got our money. So majority of it, a good portion of it has been recovered already. But we do have money in the budget for that.
Sorry, is Enid on that list?
Yes, yes.
Z21, the next meeting is March 6th at 3 o'clock.
Sorry, I'm on that committee, I'm not gonna be available for that. Mr. Daly presumably will be there, is he in town March 6th?
Should be.
So, I don't know if it matters that no one from council will be there, but, sorry. Somebody wants to sit in my place, it's really exciting.
And then last thing is the medical cannabis. Kenton County and PDS is going to help draft some model ordinances. Hope to have something by mid-March, just to talk about at a future council meeting that it's going to come up. You know, it's medical marijuana is legal in the state in July of next year. Correct, Chief?
That's correct.
So, you know, are we gonna have dispensaries here? Do we want dispensaries here? How do we wanna manage them? Are all kinds of items that, will be brought up for a future meeting. That's just kind of an FYI. Director Miller.
Mine's short and sweet as well. Just like you mentioned, we're replacing the dump truck number 30 that we got rid of. We're looking at a 1-ton dump truck with the salter, stainless steel bed, and the plow package on the front. And I am waiting on those 2 quotes. I haven't received them yet. The playground update is all the concrete footers are out. Philly Hills came with their backhoe, helped us out, got all the footers out, and now we are filling in all the holes and getting the surface done to get ready for the poured rubber. Squire Hill, I talked to TMS Construction today. March the 18th is their start date, is what they're shooting for to get the concrete slab fixed out there. Sidewalk evaluations. We've evaluated some sidewalks in the city. We'll be marking them in March, and we'll be sending out sidewalk letters to have them repaired. And then you talked a little bit about the grants. April and I have got the samples of the grants and have started on those. So, do you guys have any questions?
I don't have any questions, just 2 things. The American flag out here seems to have doubled over and hooked on itself.
Okay.
And then the American flag at the park is ripped, at least the top 3 sharp.
Get those fixed.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry. Thank you.
Any old business? New business, resolution 2024-1.
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution number 2024-1, a resolution of the City of Crescent Springs, Kentucky adopting the Northern Kentucky Regional Hazard Mitigation Plan 2024. Whereas the City of Crescent Springs, Kentucky recognizes the threat that natural hazards pose to its citizens and property within the City of Crescent Springs. And whereas the City of Crescent Springs has reviewed a multi-hazard mitigation plan hereby known as the Northern Kentucky Regional Hazard Mitigation Plan 2024, in accordance with federal laws, including the Robert T. Stafford Disaster Relief and Emergency Assistance Act as amended, the National Flood Insurance Act of 1968 as amended, and the National Dam Safety Program Act as amended. And whereas the Northern Kentucky Regional Hazard Mitigation Plan 2024 identifies mitigation goals and actions to reduce or eliminate long-term risks to people and property in Crescent Springs, Kentucky from the impacts of future hazards and disasters. And whereas adoption by the City Council demonstrates its commitment to hazard mitigation and achieving the goals outlined in the Northern Kentucky Regional Hazard Mitigation Plan 2024. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Crescent Springs, Kentucky, that the City of Crescent Springs, Kentucky hereby adopts the Northern Kentucky Regional Hazard Mitigation Plan 2024. While content related to Crescent Springs may require revisions to meet the plan approval requirements, changes occurring after adoption will not require the City of Crescent Springs to re-adopt any further iterations of the plan. Subsequent plan updates following the approval period for this plan will require separate adoption resolutions.
So this is a plan on hazard mitigation that Steve Hensley works on, that with the help of PD, the FD, and others to put something together to help mitigate issues around the county.
So what exactly is the plan?
It's,
That other document already said.
Chief, can you explain it a little bit more?
So each city identifies their hazards. For Crescent Springs, the railroad, we're at the end of the runways. The plan basically is what we do in the case there's styrene comes through on the railroad, things like that. We identify what the hazards are, we know what the probable plan is to correct that, and we prepare for the future for doing that. Any available resources that we can use.
But what are the steps of said plan? That's what it seems like we're voting on that whatever the set steps are, that we're okay with those steps, but I haven't seen the steps yet. Am I missing something?
No, the plan is that all you're approving is that the fire department's gonna respond, the police department, and emergency management, and that we have a plan in place to protect any problem that we have in the city.
And I believe too, it has that, if we adopt this, then the City of Crescent Springs specific needs can be put into their own hazard plan, so, or amended, because while content related to Crescent Springs may require revisions, so we're just taking the county's blueprint and then putting our flavor into it.
In the incident command 300 and 400, which mayors and council people are required to take, or supposed to take, it allows us to allocate resources. So if I need a backhoe, or, for example, we're working on electric vehicle fires right now. The plan for that is a rollback dumpster and 2,000 pounds of sand, because that's the only safe way to put it out. Things like that are in the mitigation plan. So electric vehicles, certain instances on the interstate, when I sat through with Bill Hills, of course we have the river. So there's the whole idea behind the mitigation plan is we identify the hazards and then a way to fix the hazard if something goes wrong.
Do natural disasters fall into this plan as well? Okay, yeah. And a resolution is just us saying that we're going to support it, it's not ordinance, it's not anything else. It's just saying that we support the approach.
So we are basically joining the plan, that we agreed to be part of the plan.
Right, I can bring a copy of the last plan down. It's about this thick. Honestly, any kind of hazard, we know in the back of our heads how we're gonna handle it, and that book gets opened very rarely.
It is a form.
Is there a motion to approve?
Yes, motion to approve.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Mark Wittenberger,
Yes.
Janine Bell Smith,
Yes.
Don Kylie,
Yes.
Bill Schultz,
No.
Brian Barclay,
Yes.
Carol McGowan,
Yes.
Thank you.
I would like to recommend, I've been down to this, what we call this is the command center. Some of others of us have not been. Steve Hensley is an excellent, excellent individual that we have taken care of us. And it would be nice if we could maybe have a visit, go down there as a group and find out, we as elected officials, what our responsibilities would be to do in case we did have a hazard, such as happened with the railroad down in Pennsylvania. We've got one right here. And if we could see what the command center would look like, I'd be very much impressed if we've never had the opportunity to be there. And I repeat again, Steve Hensley is an excellent individual that's taking care of responsibilities. Would anybody be interested in doing that?
Sure. Are all six of us allowed to get together then?
Well, I believe so, because we were there, I missed it this year, but last year we were there, and they had invited the mayors and council people that came, and that invitation did not go out to everyone. But I don't see that would be an issue. In fact, it was even so nice, we even had some lunch, we had a snack, or dinner, whatever.
It's a question for Mr. Baker to answer.
No,
If everybody could go on a field trip.
I think they could.
Did you say you would like to go this
He
year?
said, I think.
He said he thinks they could.
Oh, okay.
I see no reason why you all can't go. I'd be happy to go.
Yeah. I was very much impressed when Steve Hensley tells about all the equipment we have and how the protection of that room, the safety where they can have a command center. I'm sure the police and the fire, I think it'd be very important for us to see that. It's well worth the money that we put into that building. And I think Chris Donovan was very supportive of that. And of course, Steve Hensley's excellent leadership in that area. I would like to claim a day to go down there and
I'll reach out to Mr. Hensley.
I will add the caveat, if we all go, you're not discussing any other business of the city, but other than that, you can certainly.
All right, your business, that's right, just how much we like it. We'd be very thankful that it's there. Because when the bridge burned, remember the bridge burning? Steve Hensley got that phone call at 2:30 in the morning.
Yes, you're talking about the I-75.
75.
Oh,
yes.
Brent
Yeah,
Spence,
at
yeah.
75, the Brent, the BS Bridge, as I refer to it, the Brent Spence Bridge. Super, super tough, he did, getting us through that.
Next item is resolution 2024-2.
Resolution number 2024-2, a resolution of the City of Crescent Springs, Kentucky, authorizing the mayor to apply for a grant from the Kentucky Energy and Environment Cabinet for the Crumb Rubber / Tire Derived Products Grant, wherein the city would pay 25% of the total cost of the project. Whereas City Council and the mayor authorized the mayor to enter into an agreement to purchase new playground equipment from Miracle of Kentucky and Tennessee in Municipal Order 2023-17, and whereas Miracle of Kentucky and Tennessee has quoted the installation and purchase of the rubber surfacing for the playground equipment at $165,600, and whereas the city intends to make application for the Crumb Rubber Tire-Derived Products Grant from the Kentucky Energy and Transportation Cabinet, which, if granted, authorizes a 75-25% split match, wherein the city would provide 25% of the funds if the grant is approved, and the cabinet provides 75%. Now therefore be it resolved that the City of Crescent Springs authorizes the mayor or his designee to sign and apply for the Crumb Rubber Tire Derived Products Grant from the Kentucky Energy and Environment Cabinet on a 75-25% split match basis. Be it further resolved that the City of Crescent Springs, City of Crescent, this should be Springs, shall hold 25% of the proposed project costs for the purpose of matching the Crum Rubber tire-derived products grant from the Kentucky Energy and Environment Cabinet if approved.
Motion to approve.
Any other discussion?
I do have a question. This $165,000, 600, is that included in the $500,000 we're spending to renovate
Yes.
the playground? That's part of it,
Yes,
so
that's part of
it's not
it.
in the extra.
That is not extra, it's part of
That's
it.
very good, so it's very helpful that we do get the grant.
Anything else? Roll call, please.
Mark Wittenberger,
Yes.
Janine Bell Smith,
Yes.
Don Kylie,
Yes.
Bill Schultz,
Yes.
Brian Barclay,
Yes.
Carol McGowan.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Any committee reports?
Fire Authority gave theirs.
Thank you.
I'll send you a corrected one. I know we just signed it.
Any citizens' comments?
Just reiterate that I'd like to see those meetings taped, appreciate it. A lot of things said at the meetings that don't make the minutes, and, appreciate it.
Anything else?
I like the idea of taking the minutes too, of the fire authority.
As stated earlier, we will look into it.
Yes, that's great.
Hearing nothing else, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. Thank you all.